Hero Club presents Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu. God damn it, Projekt, you always do this every time. Every time! Because nosotros, los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu, Episode 2. I'm one of your hosts, Wheelchair21, and the other one there shouting Minator? Yeah, that is none other than Projekt, formerly Projekt RDM.
The
All
fuck
right,
is that? That guy sounds awesome. He stole my name.
he is you.
Shut up. That's another guy.
Anyways, like we said on this week's episode, since we somehow planned it out in advance, illegitimately,
No,
we
we
will be
didn't.
talking. Yeah, we kind of did. We kind of
We
did.
planned nothing.
We planned this
You're
one,
fucking
sort of.
lying. You're
Anyways,
fucking lying.
on today's schedule, we have to talk about Kyuranger, everything going in, everything we know, and the first two episodes, and what we're enjoying or not liking so far. Our other thing we'll be talking about is the Power Rangers movie. And pretty much what we'll be doing is kind of like a commentary, but we'll be cutting in our favorite parts, taking out a lot of the filler, and seeing how much we can do in this, I guess, hour 90 minutes of a show, because usually we want to keep down to 45 minutes to no more than 2 hours max. If we go over that, we think we have lost your interest as well as our own interest in doing a damn
Or we
show.
died.
Or we died. Unfortunately, like that one Twitch streamer, which I feel so sorry for. I cannot believe like he went out to get something to eat and just never came back
Oh
because
god.
he died of a heart attack supposedly.
Hey,
He
what?
went out.
Really? That was
Yeah,
a
so
thing?
just recently in recent news, yeah, for those in the game community, a well-known Twitch player. I did not really know him. I did not really follow him, but I saw it making the rounds on the news and stuff that he was doing a 24-hour marathon of him playing like just random games. And he said he was going to get like something to eat, go to the bathroom, and do a cigarette break. And he just never came back after like the first 12 hours. He just never came back. And a lot of
So you tell him
people,
what happened was like somebody called it in, and next thing you know, the cops or whatever found him.
yeah, like he never came back. The stream was still like running, and I guess someone was able to contact local authorities saying, "Hey, this guy never came back home." And I guess they found him the next day. Luckily, neighbors also found him. I guess he had supposedly died in his backyard or something of a heart attack. I didn't read the full report, but like someone found him. Someone found
Condolences,
him.
condolences to his friends and family. So that's scary, man.
Like I said, I don't know who it was. Like I don't know him exactly. I just read the report.
Whoever it is, if the story is legit, yeah, wow.
No, it's legit. It is straight on legit. It's like the most craziest thing to have happened in a long time in Twitch. But anyways, like we're already off course because of just crazy ass local news, and
We are.
and and the funny and the funny thing about it is though, if anyone's looking at the screen right now, if you're watching it on YouTube or listening to us on YouTube, you see this
See
thing called
nothing.
the lit list. The lit list is pretty much the guidelines on stuff that we talked about and planned for this episode that we tried to get to through the course of every episode going henceforward in this series. Now the thing is, if we don't meet the requirements of this list, they will be pushed to the next episode. But then again, since we're more of a variety show, it doesn't really freaking matter because we don't have to keep to a goddamn
Fucking
schedule.
lying. We have the list, but it doesn't mean we're actually gonna go through the actual list today, or at all.
Well, we only have two things on said list.
Again, that doesn't mean we're actually gonna get through the entire list.
And then you find out that we have to cut the movie commentary riffing into two parts. That's the irony right there. But so the first thing we're going to talk about is our most recent Sentai series, the 41st Sentai series, even though Projekt is in
Oh,
denial.
first, what number? What time? What episode? What series is Kyuranger?
Like
The number
36,
36,
37.
7. What? Well, this is 38. Why the hell? Why is it 41? What?
Yeah, see, he is in denial. He still doesn't want to believe that Sentai has gone on since Koyuger.
They took a break, sir.
I wish they did. I
We got
seriously
those
wish
Metal
they.
Hero movies, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we got
This
them.
was this tied us over, right?
Yeah, they tied us over real well. No, they didn't. We need more.
Fucking lie.
So so with Q Ranger, pretty much this is the first time I think in a long ass while that Toei decided to go balls to the wall. You have a series where we have like 9 Rangers practically off the start, Senshi, and and they're actually making this an intergalactic freaking space opera where they're going from planet to planet and encountering all these freaking new aliens and all this stuff and the bad guys Jark Matter that have taken over the damn universe. And honestly, right there alone, it's already crazy that they've gone out on this limb to try to do something very experimental because they didn't even try doing that stuff back in like the Space Sheriff's day.
Or you mean like in Gokaiger where they're space pirates and they only stayed on Earth?
Yeah, like it's this is like the first time they've actually experimented with the actual gimmick being in full force of the series. They're on a spaceship called the Orion, which holds all of the Voyagers. They're mechas, and like it just flies around with them to planet. It's just incredible that for once we have a freaking series that's like keeping to the whole scenario of hey yo, we're gonna go explore space and defend the universe. And on top of that, you got Jark Matter, who's actually successfully taken over the goddamn universe, unlike every other
Except
previous
for Earth,
team.
right?
No, supposedly Earth has already been besieged, and that
How
this
does
is
that
in
work?
supposedly this is in the distant future, but
Yeah,
it's
but
gonna contradict itself. It's gonna
it's not.
contradict itself.
They're gonna fuck up their own timeline because now how are they gonna team up with the other Sentai?
That's exactly what a lot of people are saying.
Probably could have said like Earth has been blockaded because they can't stop the Sentai
Yeah,
team.
like if at least if they I feel like the beginning should have been but Earth is still in prosperity due to the other Sentais already known defending at least that area, like the Milky Ways. The
The
Milky
Milky
Way
Way,
is like
yeah,
the
that
last resort, like the last real place of protection. That would make a
because that
whole
would have
lot
been
more
like
sense.
main base of base of operation. They could be like they're stationed by like in the Milky Way galaxy, and then they kind
And it
of
could make
venture off
sense because
to
you could
places.
have it that like Aka Ranger appears and he's like Aka Red appears and he's like, yo, okay, so the other Sentai teams aren't
Bitch,
like
he ain't canon.
like
He
he's
did.
canon. He
He
canon.
did. He did.
But like it's kind of confusing because I feel like they could have done more with this and could have actually made it the real anniversary series so they could have reasons for like Gokaigers showing up, the Mega Rangers showing up.
Yep. Well, aren't they gonna be teaming up with the Deca Rangers at some point?
They might team up with
Already?
Deca Rangers.
Wait, who are the Deca Rangers teaming up with right now?
Just Gavin, just Gavin,
Just Gavin, right?
just Gavin and the other Metal Heroes maybe in that movie, but mostly Gavin. Like we still don't know if new
What? Our
Shider and
Gavin
new.
or the Gavin of the new generation?
Okay, new generation's gonna actually be doing all the action this time. It seems like we're not gonna supposedly see Kenji Oba transform, but we might because everyone's like really pressuring them. Like we don't know too much about this Deca Ranger movie until we see it because it's like direct to
Oh,
DVD.
we know for a fact. We know for a fact. Kenji Oba Gavin is good friends with Doggy Cougar.
Oh yeah, so I just know that if anything, we should have Deca Ranger, Mega Ranger, Gokaiger teaming up with these guys, but I really doubt they're gonna go through all the stops to do it. But you never know. We might have that. We might. We don't know. It could happen. But one of the things about this series that already has fans like hooked is the fact that the suits are actually very unique. Now, I don't think the suits are that freaking unique because
I
some of
like
them,
them.
like the helmet, like I don't know why, but I don't really like the helmets too much. But I like the overall
Of
bodysuits having the armor.
You mean the different nuances for the armor based on their race?
I
Interesting.
like well no I like that they have like that weird like actual weird space padding like actual like real armor on their suits, but then like their helmets some of them like have too much of that incorporation of their constellation where it's just like random as hell like it's just
The
kind
whole
of
point.
yeah I know it's kind of weird like I purposely don't like Kajiki because I feel like they're gonna break a lot of that helmet because like the whatever type of like plexiglass they use or whatever they use for the visor I feel like that thing's gonna chip off and just break on them a lot. They're gonna go through a lot of those helmets. But I do like that Champ and uh Garu actually have like real suits. Like Champ's suit is really big and bulky, and Garu's suit actually has like a fur exosuit to go with his whole wolf gimmick.
Well, because you want to talk about chameleon green.
Oh yeah, Hammy, Hammy. But like project going into this, like what were your thoughts like looking at the stuff like going in before we actually get to our first two episodes?
Like I
like
said, I was
seeing.
excited because it's been a while since I've seen Sentai. You know what I mean? With that hiatus that they took, I was interested immediately. Although I was a little surprised, like what 9, probably 10 Senshi right off the jump.
Yeah, we had 9, exactly 9. But
We
like,
have, we have 10. It has to be an even 10, okay?
well, no, we're actually gonna get 11 from the scans. We already have
Wait,
like,
what?
there's gonna be 11.
No. So 10,
11.
10,
No, 11.
and
I wish.
and.
I wish. I wish Ty Dillinger was actually the dragon.
Hey, if they adapted it in America, why not?
Oh my god.
WWE films needs to get their hands on Power Rangers, or at least help produce.
I'll produce 10,
They can
10,
make
10.
they can
Dude.
make a team of John
Oh my
Cena's.
god, make no no no. Make John Cena the voice of Champ.
Oh God,
It would work.
I don't know if it would, but okay.
I would love that. But yeah, no, like going into it, like it was very iffy. Like for me, I thought it was gonna be cracktastic. I thought it was gonna be not as
I actually
like I think
I was
what won me over really is the weapons. The weapons here because they have like these multi-tool weapons that they put
It's
together.
basically like the Go Busters, except not everybody has their own version of the weapon that they use for trademark for themselves.
Yeah, like that
Like
part is cool.
so Red has the sword. What
hmm
does Green use? Does she use a
Green
whip or
uses
something? Or
uses a rapier, which is actually
rapier?
a reverse version of the hilt. Like it pulls out a blade when you flip it over.
And Kajiki's yellow, right?
Yeah, Kajiki or Dorako because he's actually the Dorako constellation, but because it is a Kajiki swordfish, they like to call it Kajiki.
What does he use?
I want to say he uses the dagger,
Because I know the new Q Rangers that we get
crossbow, and
use
sickle.
a scythe. Actually, it's not a sickle.
Yeah,
He calls it a scythe, I think.
I don't know. It's one.
What does Black use?
He uses a giant axe, which is just pretty much the thing attached to the second piece. Garu uses a claw, like an underhand claw. Pink uses
Like
a
fucking,
gun.
like you mean like red, like the actual gauntlet claw thing, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like the almost like the Ginga claw from
Hmm.
back in the day. Pink uses a gun. Are we missing anyone? Scorpio? I think Scorpio has like a
In
lance.
the next episode 3, is he orange or gold? Is he orange? No, orange. He's orange,
Orange.
right?
Yes, the
He
Scorpion
uses a
uses
spear.
a spear. Okay. And
And
then
I saw the preview.
I don't remember who uses what. I really don't. I think we named
Yeah, I
all of
don't
them.
remember. We named all of them except for the last two, like the last three, I guess, because right.
Well, yeah. Well, I know that Purple supposedly isn't using that weapon because his staff is also his weapon because I think it doubles as a gun. And the Ursa Major, Minor Senshi, who is a kid who can use his ability to grow up into an adult body for Ursa Major. We don't know what his or her weapon is because that's
No,
still
we should figure
indecisive.
eventually. So it's
Yeah,
still a mystery.
but I gotta say, like going into it, I like the idea of the Voyagers. I wasn't originally a fan of the Q-Tama. Like I found the Q-Tamas like kind of weird because like
Is orbs?
yeah, like they just look like globes more than like supposed to be constellation jewels.
I'm not gonna lie to you. If they make a CSMs of those, that would look pretty awesome on display though, because they'd be like crystal and shit.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
like I could see those like really working because like those look amazing. It makes me kind of want to just get the cockpit versions of them to have the little miniature figures to have on display, like actually in the mecha.
Dragon Balls.
The Dragon Balls, you bring them together and you get a wish. Uh, but like right now, I think the thing that I still like about the show is the fact that right now we have this show that's actually going out there trying to be an adventure series. You have them having these actually pretty decent suits, really nice plethora of weapons, and the mecha looks amazing. Like the mecha originally looked goofy, but like looking at the mini plot, I'm like, I'm so gonna love
I
constructing
like the
you.
mech. Looking at it, I think it used to the whole orb thing. Like they're all exposed at the front. I'm like, all right, that's a little what to go. Technically, if that cockpit gets punched, they're dead.
Yeah, they should be
But
dead.
I kind of took the logic out the window of that because it is Super Sentai. So you know what? It's cool. It's cool for what it is. But in realistic terms, which really I shouldn't be thinking that way. Yeah,
It's like
pretty
bye
much.
bye. They'll be
Plastic.
like Camille Badon's mother floating out in space.
I don't know what that is.
Gundam Zeta.
I don't know. I only know like the two greatest Gundam series of all time. and one of them's actually a sequel.
One of
So
them's shut the fuck up. Shut the...
what? What? Wheels? Come on now.
But after like seeing the first episodes, like, what are your thoughts?
I still like it. I haven't lost interest yet.
Okay, so yeah,
Although I
it's
think
just
they're
simple.
cramming, I think they're cramming like meeting all the Senshi all at once. And, like I bet you, but before episode 10, they'll meet everybody.
Oh
So
yeah, cause if the thing is they already have Pink with them, which is Raptor, voiced
but
by
she won't
Mao
get her powers
Michimichi.
later, till later,
Yeah, we know she's getting her powers like after Orange, obviously, because Orange is gonna be by himself in an episode.
and he's gonna be a dick.
Yeah, and supposedly he and Champ have a backstory with one another, from what the trailer shows or alludes to. But like I gotta say, watching it, they are cramming a lot in because the first episode felt like it was more like a three-parter or almost like a two-parter because like I'm sitting there and like too much stuff happened at once,
Don't
and then
forget,
what?
put it this way, Wheels. Like I said, because they took a break, they should have just taken the Kyuranger model. Think about it. Episode 1 only showed three of them. Episode 2, you get one more. Episode 4,
Well, no, no, no.
the
Actually, no. They were there, but you didn't get to meet them
yeah,
unless the story progressed in that, which was
yeah,
like
but then you know
what
what I'm
was good.
talking about, right? They didn't
Yeah,
actually become a team where like they're all unified together, the same cause. But you know what I mean? They help each other, but they're not like.
yeah. Because like I feel like the problem was they progressed it too fast. Because I feel in the first 10 episodes it should have been building the team a little slowly, where you see the first three that we had, which was Hammy, uh, Spada, and Champ, and they find Red. And I feel like the first episode should have been them dealing without having the others, then meeting Red at the end, like where the intro begins, and he's like, "Oh, I want to join you guys." Then immediately part two should have picked up right after that when they go to get Garu and get the mecha, and then episode 3 or 4 should have been just getting gold and silver. Then you know what I'm saying? There should have at least been an episode or two just for the intro. The intro was like, let's just shove it all in there. Hell, O Ranger I think is probably, even though a lot of people don't, now that they're watching O Ranger through Shout Factory, they don't supposedly like how O Ranger started, or a lot of the older Sentai started for people who are just even getting further into Sentai. They don't like that the stories used to build to, hey, this is how we got our weapons, this is how we got our mecha, this is how we got this and this and this. Supposedly people don't like that anymore, that the story gradually explains the evolution of the team and powers. I don't understand. Like, I guess everyone just wants it all at once now to supposedly have a better, constructive story on character development and plot. But
Well, and my
it's
theory is
weird.
on this thing. It's like back in like the mid 90s. It's the ADD era, so everybody's attention span is so short, so they have to cram stuff in one go now. Like it's
Yeah.
basically back in
Yeah.
the remember mid 90s. I don't know. You were probably too young then, back in the mid 90s.
Mm-mm.
But like, yeah, dude. Okay, I'm gonna segue to pro wrestling. Pro wrestling, dude. Attitude era. Everything is like everything's crammed in one episode, or it's all exciting, a lot of shock value to keep everybody's attention. Because back then, ADD was a thing, right? It still is, but it was prominent back then. It seems to be it's more prominent now in this generation with technology. Fucking, I mean, we can receive information faster than ever, so they kind of want to make sure they hold our interest by doing cramming all this crap all at once, all at the same time.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Because I do know, like, people like a lot. It seems to be around Shinkenger though. We got a lot more anime fans, so like they're like, oh, they should just get the gimmick pushed out of the way and then give us this huge overarching plot and story and character development. And I'm like, it kind of makes sense to do it that way, but at the same time, I'm one of these older Sentai fans where I'm like, I like the progression of powers and shit. Even though a lot of people now watching it hate it, because like I remember talking to Soundout, and Soundout said he thought that the series for Die Ranger started off too dull, but like he liked it for Jew Ranger, but he felt that like every Sentai after it shouldn't have followed that model. And I'm like, or at least should have had a little bit more oomph while following the model. There should have been more like, crazy ass stuff going on. But I'm like, it's a little 50-50 because like with O Ranger, I think O Ranger still was solid. Like I feel like the most solid intros are like O Ranger, Kaku Ranger, like I feel like anything from Jetman to O Ranger really had like that solid feel. And I've only seen from Jetman onwards and like a few of the stuff before, so I can't really get a good grasp of how earlier Sentai started. But like not like 90 to now, it's like there was a story of how stuff happened, But then like when Gal Ranger hit and they started trying to do more gimmicky stuff, it was like every other episode, like it would be like you got your intro, and then like by episode 5 or 6, they would start introducing another piece of the gimmick. And it was getting a little crazy. Because remember in Shinkenger, when they started getting, what was it, the first three of the origamis that become Daitenku? It was, they got the Beetle, then the next episode was another episode with just the Beetle, then the next episode was just an episode with the Kajiki and Kajiki, then it was a two-parter for the Tiger, and then they got the Daitenku bird for like the next 2 episodes or 3 episodes, and then put it together to become Daitenku Shinkano. And
Don't
that was
forget
kind,
the
kind
Monkey Dio episode was a two-parter too, I believe.
yeah, but early on though, when like you start getting these like gimmick mecha early on in the eras, or like anything gimmick in general, like with new weapons and stuff, in the first arc of like the first half of the show, they would always try to do this incorporation of, there would at least be one episode of like kind of like a filler just to keep promoting that new toy, and like a week or two later they would bring out the next new toy. But nowadays it's like they put like two mechas at once, so like they can get it all out of the way. And I go, that's good marketing wise, I guess, to get it all out of the way. But I feel like that also hurts the story without getting people to just see it, because in the last couple of seasons we don't see enough of the combination. So I think what they did was they looked back at what screwed over Ninja was the Otomans, like a Ninja Steel, the chess piece. There was like only 5 of them and only one mecha to use them with, so they weren't as effectively to be used. But now they got Voyager, which is a body that can switch up all the other arms, and then you got the dragon coming in soon that can use all the other arms. So it's like no matter what, a majority of the auxiliary mecha, we're going to be seeing them. So we don't have to worry about like all of the senshis being cast aside, because the auxiliary mecha is part of the main mecha in general. So it's kind of like weird that they at least went out and thought effectively that if we're making it based on constellations, that means there should be a ranger for every constellation, rather than just they should be able to find a mecha for every constellation, meaning that like, oh shit, maybe one of these ones won't be getting seen on TV as much.
Yeah, but
So at least
again,
they're thinking, and with the new Jark Matter organization, we at least know it's kind of like everything that was supposed to be like the Maku Syndicate and all those guys. Like we actually see a hierarchy of like, oh, you have for
partner.
every general, there's at least 5 or 8 that are led under them, and for every 5 or 8 led under them, they have an army of 20, and for every army of these lower guys, they have an army of 100 apiece, some bullshit like that. And then you have the mass produced like grunts. But like that made a lot of sense. So I gotta say, one thing I like is at least they're trying to build this syndicate up to explain its universal domination. I like the fact that they at least found a way to try to incorporate that auxiliary mecha will have more purpose than they need to be, because they're actually a part of the core team. That's probably the only good thing about this show, is they were able to shoehorn a reason to make the auxiliary mecha relevant. Because even in Koyuger, we didn't start seeing some of the arms like Ankidan and Bunpaki used effectively until we had other body Zords that could use them, or use the combination. Because at least they started doing that with Koyuger. Like they tried to use gimmick switches, so it would explain why they need to switch even in set episodes. So right now, I feel like we got a decent start. Just needs to be not so quick a pace. Correct? That's
Yeah,
our.
but again, so far so good for me, so I have no complaints.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing with that we can go on to our main event, and our main event is none other than, God damn it, Power Rangers the movie.
Main event? What?
Us watching the movie and
Who said
talking
that?
about it. The manuscript. I'm looking at it right now. The lit list. We only had 2 things to accomplish.
You serious?
Yeah.
So when you say main event, you're talking about?
No,
Nope,
no,
no, not that guy.
no,
No,
not
we don't
that
want
guy.
him.
No, 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 no. If that main event, we're gonna die. We're gonna die. We're gonna die. No,
I don't want to get Superman punched to oblivion.
no, no,
All right,
no.
continue. Let's go.
All right. So, And with that, we'll be moving on to our next part. Yes, indeedy.
Minotaur.
Minotaur. All right. 20th Century Fox.
You mean 20th Century Fox?
Damn right. Fox. Alicia Fox.
What? Because it's not our fault. She likes the fox.
She likes to fox with the wrong man.
Uh,
She's gonna ruin Dar. She's gonna ruin him, Projekt.
I don't
She
think so. I'm pretty
ruins
sure
him.
Noam Dar ruined her.
Ah. Hit her with his Death Star. You know, I always didn't understand that crap at the beginning here, the Star Wars like prologue. Cause I sat there and I'm like, who is this chick narrating? And they're like, oh, it's Delcia. I was like, oh, it makes all this sense now, you know? Like as a kid, I'm just sitting here like, who is this? Who's narrating?
I think this movie's implying that most people watching this don't know what Power Rangers are.
I know, right? Well, don't forget this is non-canon, was and all arranged by freaking what was it? Fox. Like Fox arranged all of this. Like they were like, nope, this is what's gonna happen.
I kind of want to know which actor was like terrified of doing this.
I heard Karen Ashley threw up all over herself during this. Cause like that's one of the biggest things they said when they had to do the skydiving. Now all the skydiving wasn't actually done by them, but they did actually have to do the actual flight and parachute, which they were trained to do. And supposedly, like the entire time, Narvi and Schreier, they didn't really parachute at all. They were like lowered in by crane later on, I think, when they accidentally parachuted into the wrong area or whatever, something like that. Because, like, I know, like, at Power Morphicon, that was when we found out about Karen Ashley threw up all over herself because Johnny Young Bosch mentioned about how they purposely told her to, like, eat before time so they would see her throw up purposely. Like, they tricked her.
I'm pretty sure they weren't doing the tricks, but I'm sure they actually skydove though.
No, they had to skydive themselves. Like, supposedly, they were taught to skydive and do it, but they didn't do any of the actual tricks. Like, those were done by duplicates, and I think only stunt doubles and like body doubles. But like if I remember, I think supposedly JDF and Johnny Young Bosch were the only ones at the time that already knew how to actual skydive. Everyone else didn't, because JDF like skydives like every year.
Yep.
That's like one of his biggest hobbies. That isn't, you know, piss off the fandom.
Or call out CM Punk.
or continue that long rivalry with Austin St. John.
I'm pretty sure it's one-sided.
I don't know. It seems like it's dual-sided, but they keep it to themselves because they know the fans want to pay to see them fight.
Or it's a work. The last 20 years, it's a work.
No. The Jason Font and Dan Southworth like thing is a work.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they did, all the actors did the skydiving thing.
Not really.
They may have just jumped. They may have just gotten a free skydiving thing, but then they were attached to somebody.
Possibly too.
What was the comic called? Is this Ryan's comic? Because Orion apparently is trademarked.
Yeah, that was the joke you made last night when I realized HBO was playing it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go watch this to like get some material for the episode. And you were like, wait. You know Orion's comic is trademarked, and I'm like, get the F out of there. No, and you're like, nah, I'm just screwing with you. I'm like, Oh yeah, you know what's funny too? I found out supposedly YouTube is now becoming like Blip TV, and that they're like not really wanting to. If you try to be a partner, they're gonna tell you to stop cut down on the swearing in general and all that jazz. So I found out, Projekt, if we start getting bigger, we have to start censoring ourselves, and I was like, get the F out. Fuck that shit.
They can go fox themselves.
Yeah, go Fox. Go Fox. I'm guessing we're gonna use that now. We're gonna start learning to try to censor ourselves already and just say, Fox.
And then every time we say it, Alicia Fox's face will show
Oh
on the
god,
screen.
yeah, that would totally work. Or we just have
I don't
no
give
M
a
Dark
flying
like gifs.
fox.
Fox.
I keep forgetting back in the 90s that wearing your cap backwards was a thing.
Yeah, I know. Now the only people who actually wear their cap backwards are like auto repair guys and like catchers at baseball games.
True.
You know what? For a long time, as remember the guy who said he was in Power Rangers that killed that guy over a boat. I honestly thought it was this kid from the Power Rangers movie that did it. I always thought it was him until I found out it was the kid from the Sakadillo episode. Also, I don't know where this joke is about to come in, where he says "be the swallow," but lately now I make so many bad innuendos. Be the swallow.
That was a whole joke. And technically, when they jumped out, they were not really properly harnessed to their freaking parachutes.
I
So this
know.
is not them.
Because don't forget, when they supposedly, I think, parachute down, they're attached to each other. Hey, here's the whole entire soundtrack that we talked about as why this movie was amazing. The soundtrack made it a whole lot better.
Gratuitous booty shot of Kimberly and Ash. What's her name, right?
Karen Ashley, yeah.
That was on purpose.
Hey, don't forget the joke I made though about when they did what was it? The episode where they went to the beach or whatever, and she was actually wearing a bikini. And I was like, every other episode when they went to the beach later, she was all wearing clothes. I was like, I guess soccer moms ruined that. Thanks, soccer moms. I like how Bulk keeps saying he's the stealth eagle, and I'm like, sorry, I think that's an actual Sentai character or a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
We're from the Angel Grove Building Inspector's office.
Yeah, that building's supposed to be over there.
Yeah.
This is like the dumbest construction worker of all time.
Proper foot protection.
Who's in charge around here, huh?
Nah, it's more like he's lucky that they called him away to look at something. Like he's like looking at them like the hell.
That was a close one.
Youngie?
Always.
Now I'm not gonna lie though, I remember like as a kid wondering what city they shot in North America, not knowing until like years later looking on like the internet that this was all Australia. Like as a kid I was like, man, where in North America is this place?
Wheels, don't forget, everything is shot in New Zealand now, and it's supposed to be California.
At least some of the way the buildings are constructed could make you actually think it was California.
Yep, hey Wheels, don't forget the accents.
But yeah, the accents of like some of the other actors and stuff. But like they try to hide their accents pretty good like lately.
Some of them are really good at hiding their accents, that's fine.
And then some of them are actually told to keep the accents, and we'll just because of the deal. Oh yeah, did you hear about this? I found this out just recently that New Zealand, since Power Rangers has been shooting there for um
A couple of years now.
like at least over 15
Disney
years.
era, right?
Yeah, since the Disney era, New Zealand gave Saban a grant where like the government of New Zealand will finance like the production of the show as long as they
New Zealand.
incorporate like characters that say they moved here from New Zealand or they're from like the area, either New Zealand or Australia. Like, oh, my family, I was born in New Zealand, raised in Australia, kind of bullcrap, or like other jazz, like the episode in Dino Charge where they actually go in quotations to New Zealand as a way of promoting tourism and marketing. They get like an extra like $15,000 a season or something towards like 15,000 or 25,000 some bullshit a season or like for every 10 episodes. I heard that from somebody. I was like, man, that's actually a pretty cool business deal. Like the government is actually paying them to promote tourism and shit. But I always found it funny though that they didn't really do much to the command center in the episode. Like they just added more stuff to it in the visuals to make it look more badass. like on the actual exterior, just like, oh hey, what's up? And they reused the same shot in this movie, just redone a bit for Turbo.
We must act swiftly. The planet is in grave danger.
Danger from what?
6,000 years ago,
Also,
mythological
Project, you ever
creature
realize that every shot at the command center is done at nighttime when they teleported in at early dusk?
he was on the
It was
verge of
during day, yeah.
destruction of his ultimate
Like it was like
Oh,
late
oh,
afternoon when they teleported in.
I forgot where is the commencer? Is it in California or
Yeah, it's
where is it?
if I recall, it's supposed to be like a Jewish library, like a synagogue, like
No, I'm
giant.
talking about like the actual like in the universe, the power commencer is in a desert somewhere, like where in Mexico,
No,
like is it in California
okay,
still?
okay, no, this is what me and my father had to have estimate where in California it could be, and it has to be like around the borders of the lower the lower eastern side of California, somewhere near like the Rockies or whatever, like where the Rockies break off into them. Like me and my father were trying to think like where location wise is like Angel Grove supposed to be with the actual place where they filmed. And like me and my dad actually like because he has like huge like geographical maps and shit and topographical maps or whatever the hell you pronounce it. Like we were actually like doing research back in like 2006 because like out of nowhere like we were watching it one day and my dad's like, you know what, let's figure out where this is supposed to actually be.
I'm with her. I'm hungry.
That's 'cause you're a pig.
Hey, Gert. Take a look
I
at
always find it weird that the one cop here kind of looks like the guy who plays Anton Mercer, but it's not him.
You find out it was him.
Find out
Oh,
it actually is him.
I could do
it
that.
was me, Wheelchair 21. It was me all along.
Also, as a kid, I didn't actually think this was Robert Axelrod voicing Lord Zed in the movie because they changed. They used more of a synthesizer on him.
Dead voice.
Yeah, if you listen to his voice, you can tell they made his voice even darker than
Or
the
you like
actual
that's
Axelrod.
is it actual Rod though?
No, it is him. It is him and Barbara. Was it Barbara Goodson as the character still, and so is Kerrigan as Goldar. But for Zed, the guys that were doing the audio editing purposely made him sound more dark and grimacing, which actually really worked when you sit there and think about it.
What? You spent 2,000 years looking for a tub of nuts?
Patience, Motormouth. What?
Who's that pig?
I I don't know what the deal was, but like Fox wanted a new animatronic like weird butt monkey that was like the combination of Squat and Babu, but like at the same time they made Goldar a dwarf the size of Baby Bop from Barney the Dinosaur and made him like less effective at all. Like I was like, oh god.
He did nothing in this movie.
He did nothing but stand there and like suck off Ivan Ooze. He was like, "Hey boss, I heard you opened the Covenant one time and got beat up by Han Solo."
He's so handsome.
Why, thank you.
What? That actually happened.
Sworn enemy of all that is good and decent. It is
Like I don't know. Like I really want to know what went into this film. Like I know there's a lot of backstory just in the production of this film alone. But like I don't know what the hell's going on. Like Product, don't forget the infamous story of hey, let's not have faceplates in the morphed helmets.
Well, whichever producer or what's it called that needs to get kicked in the dick. Whoever, thank God he was vetoed. Somebody smart enough overpowered his idea.
You know who probably insisted that idea? Vince Russo.
No, no, no. If that was Vince Russo, David Arquette would be the White Ranger.
Oh my god. Oh god. Even though David Arquette would be like the equivalent of Skull, no matter what in any universe.
And also, don't forget, Jeff Jarrett would be in this movie using he would be a Power Ranger at some
Jeff
point.
Jarrett would have been Ivan Ooze.
Nah, because Jeff Jarrett would have put himself over immediately. So
Oh yeah, no, he'd be Jeff Jarrett, the freaking like Gold Ranger.
Jeff Jarrett would want to be Zordon, and then he would want to suit up.
Oh god, yeah.
Let's take a look up there.
I believe it. I freaking believe it. I would not doubt that shit.
doing here?
You haven't by any chance seen a morphological being lurking
I
around?
like how she actually says a morphological being, like he would actually know what the hell it was.
What the heck is that?
Like, really, Amy Jo? Like, really? Like, that script is bad.
Did it look
That's a
something
bad
like
script.
this?
Ew, gross.
Too kind. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm the galactically feared.
And I find it funny though that he's actually now doing cons as Ivan Ooze. You know what I'm saying? Promoting himself as Ivan Ooze now, realizing people actually liked his character.
Where you came from?
A teenager with a big mouth. Not much has changed in 6,000 years.
You obviously don't know who you're dealing with, Mr. Razorhead.
Here's the thing though,
Yeah,
like
we're the Power Rangers.
they said Zordon was the one who sealed him away, right? Or was it somebody else?
I think Zordon and Team Rangers probably. That's what he knows. He's heard of what's it called.
Jordan still using a bunch of kids to do his
Yeah,
dirty
because he even knows
work.
it's Zordon. Like, it's
He
like
just he just referred like Zordon still uses
yeah,
kids.
yeah, because like they even asked him, "Do you know of Zordon or Veltar?" So I'm like, I'm guessing it really had to be him the entire freaking time.
I'm pretty sure in the I think in the movie Zordon was the original Red Ranger. Pretty sure.
Well,
I
oh,
think
in
it
the
was.
new one, or are we
I
talking
think it
about
was
even in
probably
this
banging out
war?
Rita. Pretty sure it was gonna happen. Bryan Cranston was
Okay.
banging out Rita.
I believe it. I seen it.
Oh, she's green with envy.
That too. All right, and here we come to one of the probably the best fights in the entire freaking movie.
Go, guys.
You know what you just realized? All that talking, couldn't they have just morphed and shot him in the face? Instead of all that talking.
I don't know. It's confusing.
Take these beasts. Spread out.
Like it's always confused me this movie at
Idiots.
times.
Welcome to my nightmare. Action boy now.
You'd think they'd morph right now.
Yeah, I don't like, but I think it's because they're supposed to be the equivalent of like putties that they thought they could take them.
Keep the can.
Like they over expected like the ability to do that, you know.
But again, don't forget, this is what, technically season, because they've been Rangers for a while, so
This
technically
is
they
late
get
season 2 in like lore. By like lore standards, it should be season 2.
so but at least capable people, fighters now, even in human form.
Yeah.
Don't forget, they're making Billy look badass now, he gets to show his biceps.
Well, don't forget, like it was like in mid season 2 when they were like right at mid season 2, like right after they were done with like all the Zhu footage, they were like, yo, Yost, like make it look like you're actually like undergoing a transformation as like being a nerdy kid into like actually wanting to be a jock and stop getting beat up by the bullies. Because he was getting tired of wearing all the baggy stuff because it was
You
just
mean the
too
jorts and the nerdy crap?
yeah, because it was too excessively like hot in that on set with that stuff on, and it made it hard for him to actually do a lot of his like gymnastic flips that he needed to do. I gotta say I've never liked the movie morph sequence because it was out of order and like it just irked the hell out of me. Like it was not the actual order that like kids in the show like knew. They like recustomized it to be more akin to, oh, JDF's leader, so he morphs last, if I recall.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I don't like the morph sequence. It's kind of like lame. It's half-ass.
Well, they try to make it look realistic per se, but that's neither here or there. And then we get all the cool, crazy helmets that people didn't really need, but we could have actually used because it would make sense, like the technology of the visors.
Hey, Wheelz, metallic armor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oga actually thought when they were talking about the construction of the metallic armor that the show was just gonna reuse the movie suits.
Your eyes peeled.
Glitter.
Glitter! Yay! Well, I know it's a different type of fabric to make it look like glitter too. To make it look like metal. It's like some kind of satin or whatever.
Yeah, it's basically some sort of, it's a different kind of fabric that shines brighter, shines different in a bright
Like it
light.
actually looks like a metallic paint job. I'm pretty sure it's like a satin or whatever. Because it's a type of fabric you can use in your create a character on WWE.
Well, almost nobody.
See, Alpha, you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, Alpha. I mean, it's not like anyone can just break into the command center. Except that one time when you guys actually let Lord Zed into the goddamn command center. That was like the stupidest thing ever. They let Lord Zed into the command center, and I'm like, and he did try to just blow it up as soon as he got in there.
I guess if you invest your money well over 60 centuries, you can buy something pretty nice.
Okay, he said 60 centuries, so that's at least, what, freaking 6,000 years, right?
He said 6,000 years.
Yeah.
If it's non-canon, why the hell would they say 6,000 years?
I know.
Wasn't that the same battle that fucking put Rita in the goddamn what's it
Well,
called? No, she was in 10.
10,000. So does that mean
Like
like
he fought him during what's it called in between.
I'm guessing that's what happened?
But here's the thing: how the hell would well, how the oh wait no? So Lord Zed was around. Rita was the one who got in prison.
Because suppose it's weird because that
If it's non-canon, why the hell are they referring to the Lord?
well, don't forget the other confusing part is Rita. Okay, Rita. God, I can't think of this. Rita. God, damn, come on, I can think of this. Come on, brain work. Okay, like that's the thing I never understood. Like how they introduced Lord Zed always confused the hell out of me because allegedly, right? Okay, so allegedly, um, Rita worked under Zed, but then why was it that um why is it that when Zed finally shows up, it's after she's been sealed away for like ages on frickin' end? Like, have you ever thought about that? Like, what was the deal with that? You know, like why did it take so long for Zed to make his appearance known? Right?
So funny Instagram post by Dwayne.
Uh
Took a
huh.
picture with Kevin Owens, and apparently he's like, let's see what he say. He says Kevin Owens is an asshole for growing a better beard than him.
It's true though. The Rock, like the Rock's facial hair game is pretty good, but it's not that great.
Fuck Wheels. Yellow lights.
Yellow light, yellow light.
Give him some credit. The ooze the little ooze minions are pretty what's it called?
But they're actually like creative. I gotta say, I feel like they're more creative than the goddamn putties. Because, like, most of the good shit about the putties was taken out of the Jew Ranger footage. That they could actually, like, rebuild themselves, and the hard rock versions of them was, like, kind of omitted, even though it was in the footage.
Look at Cyclops.
Like, I gotta say, I like and I also hate this gimmick.
Why the hell would you say that, Tommy? You already powered up. What the fuck does that mean? Unless you're gonna turn into a Super Saiyan, you don't think you can power up?
Yeah, I don't understand. It makes no sense-a-roo.
Okay, I still like the suits though. They should have used this in the show as their power up or something.
It really should have been. Like, this was, like, the first ever, like, real...
Although
As,
I
like,
think Tommy's belt should be gold instead of white.
you
It
would
doesn't
think
seem.
it doesn't... It blends too much with his waist.
Yep. I'll give the stunt team a lot of credit though. Pretty gangster fight scenes. Not enough of them, but you know what?
Yeah, I know.
It's
We
okay.
only had, like, what is it, 3 actual fights?
Like hand-to-hand combat, yeah.
Yeah.
In the ranger suits, because most of the other hand-to-hand was either out of suit or the ninja outfits.
Because we had one out of fight with them and the slime guys. We had a second one out of fight with them and the
The Tengu Warriors,
Tengu Warriors, and they got their asses handed to them.
and then they had this. Then they had the ninja stuff against the giant, the skeleton.
The Rock Warriors.
Yeah. if that was a finish in WWE, that guy would have died.
Which part? The double drop kick?
Uh, it's actually a super kick wheel.
Oh yeah, the
It was a
super
super-
kick.
The Young Bucks would be proud.
No, what was it? There was another super
The
kick. I
Bucks
forget
and
when.
Youth would be proud, Wheels. The Bucks and
When,
Youth would
when
be
was the other super kick? I forget. There's like another super kick or a drop kick that of Doom.
I believe is the one against the Rock Monsters.
Yeah, there's the JDF corkscrew kick, and then JDF also does like a scissors kick. That's similar to like freaking what's his face.
Well, Johnny does the what's it called? Johnny does Gatak's rider kick. There we go. It's the best move in the goddamn Game Gear game, so you know.
Which part? The drop kick.
Yeah, the one he just did right now. The bicycle kick thing
Yeah.
that Liu Kang does.
You okay?
These guys are tough.
Let's finish these purple parasites.
You said it.
Look how ironic their powers run out after they beat the.
Oh yeah, like
the thing.
they luckily just managed to defeat them, and like then they get effed.
And technically, Saba shouldn't disappear because Saba's his own. What's it called, right?
Well, I think it disappeared with the morphing grid as well. It's kind of weird.
But no, it doesn't work that way. Saba doesn't work that way, dude.
Well, it does now.
You just messed up. Saba doesn't work that way. He's his own. What's it called?
But Project, get ready. We're gonna go into the filler saga of the movie. The part where we're probably gonna cut out most of our commentary from here on out, and just wait till the ending,
Or just until they start fighting that dinosaur.
or when they start, getting beat up by the Tengus and meet Dulcia for the first time.
Piss break.
Like, that's gonna be one long ass piss break. Hey, it's Wheelchair21, and thanks again for listening to an all-new episode of Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu. If you want to hear more content or see more content from the Hero Club YouTube channel, we're going to need you to subscribe, like, comment with some feedback, and share this channel with a friend. We also would like you to check out our website, hero-club.com, and follow us on various social media outlets just by looking up Hero Club for Life, as well as the stores you see are where we shop. Anyways, thanks again, and we'll see you all next time.